There we go.
F you, McGill.
Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Youth Ministry Garage, episode 209.
Yes, here we
Sponsored, powered, loved by Youth Specialties and our co-sponsors, Youth Ministry 360, Leader Trex, APU, and Remedy Live.
Love it.
Doug Fields here with Matt McGill. Remind me your name again.
Wow.
Katie.
You know what? You probably forgot her name because your iPad's up. What kind
Whoa.
of?
It's
what
just
kind of
hiding.
malarkey
It's hiding
is
my
this?
notes.
That is
And the host of the show, Josh Griffin.
great to have you here. Thanks for coming by.
Episode 209. We got great questions. Great questions. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
That's Matt.
Matt, I already
You
said
already
Matt.
said Matt.
I know, but he's kind of like needs attention.
Yeah, it's his last show.
The last show.
By the way, I don't know if we told you that.
Zachary Ray from Florestant, Missouri. I've never got into a question this quick. Still within the first minute.
That is
This a
remarkable.
question?
Doug, the picture of you on Group Magazine looks like Jafar from Aladdin wearing a white polo. I don't even know what he's talking
Well,
about.
I don't either, but
talking
that's
about
I
awesome.
haven't been on Group Magazine in years.
That's an
Love the show, and now that I've watched all of the Youth Ministry Garage episodes, I understand why people give Matt a hard time about how long it takes him to upload. Keep the advice coming. It is certainly preferable to learning in class.
And
So there was no question.
No question.
no, but we still got into something.
Yeah, we got into something. Episode 209, Matt's last
Beautiful.
episode.
That feels good.
That felt nice.
Yeah.
Jafar, read us another one. What else we got?
We're better than a boring college class.
Yeah, but you know what? He's saying, now I understand why people want you to upload it. Are we caught up, Seth?
Yeah.
We're not
behind
caught
by
up?
one. We got one more to upload. We're just building the anticipation.
Oh,
Seth, you're so
gosh.
positive.
You are.
Look at
Just
this positive
take
smile.
Matt's computer while we're here and start uploading
Yeah.
it.
This is from Joe Kenke, and I love now there's
Kenke.
three people in here that are now pronouncing their name for me.
Oh, very
Yeah,
cool.
so they're
Phonetically?
they're kind of catching on. From Wairika, California. I'd love to see you guys and Katie put on a webinar like you mentioned in episode 207. Any
All right.
idea when you might go to live shows? I've been listening to older episodes 100 to 108 and loved the barbecue sauce contest and getting to know you guys better and finally start catching some of the inside jokes like how Matt was still known as the future of the church. Funny
I
stuff.
called you that today. That was funny, yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
I don't remember the barbecue
I don't
sauce
either.
contest.
No, we had to drink barbecue sauce for something. I remember
did?
getting to do that.
And, we've been doing this for
Liking
going on
that.
6 years.
Yeah.
On the show
I shouldn't
about
look at you, Katie.
I don't
for
know.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Katie's been here for 5 or 6 shows, done a great job.
Really
Katie. Katie, you're the best.
You're the best,
You're so much better than...
Matt.
What are their other names?
Let me give you options.
Those
Matt,
women?
Jana,
Jana was one.
Natalie.
Natalie?
That is amazing.
Was there another one?
No.
That was it,
I'm
right?
not going to save you on that.
No. Yeah. I didn't like
don't
like either of those ladies.
Oh, wow. I bumped into Natalie the other day at the
did?
library, and I was
Natalie's
like,
so great.
What were you doing at the library?
I was walking by.
Yeah.
There was like a cold stone next to it or something.
Natalie.
Free
She was
free
great.
hamburgers.
She was the
She was
graphic
awesome.
artist.
Right.
And she was so funny. She was so funny. Didn't know anything about youth
No.
ministry, but
She
grew
knew
up.
a little bit. She was a volunteer.
No, I
much.
don't think she was a
She's a
volunteer.
dear
She's
lady,
so
though.
fun.
Yeah.
She is so fun. She grew up in her dad's pastor,
Oh.
Denny Blessy. Do you know Denny
yeah,
Blessy?
yeah.
It's their daughter, and she was so fun. But it was so funny that every time we had a youth ministry question, we'd just skip.
Yep.
Kind of skip.
Yeah,
But,
Do you have anything now? Okay, all right, let's go to the next question.
but so
Kind of like what we do now, but with Matt.
Perfect. So darn wonderful. Hey, this says Matt, still known as the future of the church. Speaking of future of the church,
Speaking of
do you have an
future of the
announcement? We
Dun,
ended last
dun,
time.
dun.
We ended last time the show that hasn't even been uploaded yet. Saying wait till next
All right,
time,
here it is.
because here is the news. It's the one time in
Big.
208 episodes that we couldn't actually tell the truth
Yeah?
because word was not out yet.
Well, it
we
was
didn't
so
lie.
fresh.
It was
We
so
didn't.
No, we
fresh.
didn't lie. We just
We
said there's a
refrained.
big.
It was
We
so
talked around it.
fresh.
Like if people listen to episode 209 now,
Yeah, now they'll
and
get
go
it.
back and listen to 208, they're gonna go, oh, okay. Future of the church, ready, go.
I got fired from my church. I got fired from my church.
Oh, it makes my stomach hurt just hearing you say those words.
Yeah, I mean,
I
that's
wish
the
we had
short-
call-in show right
I
now.
know, it
I'd
would
just
be
like to.
so
I wish we had a
great.
live
It would
audience.
Mine would be
so
lighting
great.
up right now
Yeah.
to talk to you.
Yep. No, 16 months into taking over a new ministry that needed some taking over, I started to get the inkling that they weren't very excited about what they were seeing, and so asked some questions, tried to get some clarity, tried to speak their language by showing numbers, and nothing. There was still kind of a non-verbally expressed discontent, and so that was 16 months in. So I figured there's no way I'm giving up. I mean, I'm gonna keep going. So then a couple months later, at the beginning of the summer, which is, what month is that? September?
Beginning
Yeah,
of summer,
summer would be
May,
June.
June.
Yeah.
So June-ish. I get June and September switched up, but June-ish had a conversation with my boss, and it was like just a total punch in the gut. And I think there was even some shows that I would show up here and we'd talk about things, and maybe I get a little teared up. And I mean, it's definitely been a thing. So
I
you don't remember that?
Teared up.
Oh, totally. Do you remember this? Am I making things up?
Yeah, I just thought it was the Tabasco pretzels he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever. I mean,
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
Sensitive
No, but there was definitely some hard times.
Some
over the last year.
tenderness. I'll give you
Yeah.
that.
So
As
then at
tender
the
as
end
you
of
can
the
be.
yeah. But at the end of the summer, it was more than where we don't think you're you know what you're doing. It was tying my hands behind my back, and so is now at the point where, like, man, I don't think it's really even good steward for me to stay there. In the beginning, when this is coming in, I mean, I was at a place where my leaders thought I was incompetent. Now, they never would use a word like that, but that's they weren't excited. But I felt like I can still lead, so I'm going to stay, even if they don't, believe in me or understand me or value. And so, so then this happened, and it was so crazy, the timing and all this stuff. My hands were tied. Then I went to have a conversation with my senior pastor, and that conversation, there was a lot of clarity, which was great, but not anywhere near the results that I was looking for. And on that day, a guy called, senior pastor of a church nearby, and said, hey, do you know anybody, or would you be interested in coming and working for me? And this is a guy I hadn't talked to for 5 months. He had no idea what was going on. He called on the worst possible day, at me going, what's up? And, the thing that was even crazier, too, with that is that, I'm trying to go fast. It's really complicated or whatever. I mean, it's obviously close to home. So he had that conversation, or we had that conversation in November-ish time, and talked, and what do you think, and, kind of considered some things. And then it was kind of got to the point where, like, okay, we want to do this. I've met with your elders. I've met with, people on your staff and key people in your church. This would be really cool. Let's go and make this happen. But they still had some financial things to figure, do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? How can we make it all work? And so I get called into the executive pastor's office. Once a week I meet with my boss. And so an hour before, she said, hey, the executive pastor wants to meet with you. And went into the office, and he just, he was kind of to the point where he said, this is one of those conversations you don't want to have. To which it took everything I had to say, well, how do you know what I want? But that's okay. I decided to keep my mouth shut. And I have kept my mouth.
Discernment.
Feels wise.
There's so many things, but it just said, we've terminated your position, and so then they basically said, we've terminated your position. How do you feel about that? And I just said, well, I do not want to be at a place where they don't want me to be. I go, so I'm great with this. This is fine.
Which you've been saying for 6 months to a year.
Which when I first,
if they don't want me here, I don't want to be here.
16 months in, yeah. I mean, because I put this spreadsheet together with numbers and history, and I show it to my boss, and I said to her, I go, look, before I put this together last week, if you would have fired me last week, which I probably shouldn't talk to my boss like that, but I said, if you let me go last week, I would walk out of here thinking, man, maybe I don't really know how to turn a ministry around. But now that I've looked at this, things are phenomenal from where I stand. I think things are really great.
We're on the right track.
And so if if you fired me now, it would be just a question of, I don't turn things around like you guys think things ought to be turned around. And so it's just a disagreement on that. So it was. That's sickness, not yet emotional. But
I missed
the
it.
day,
Tenderness.
you know,
Oh, no.
yeah, that wasn't tender. But the day, 10:30 in the morning, I get canned, or my position was terminated, and honestly, I could say, you guys have heard this just as we've been friends and talking and stuff, but all day, no anxiety at all, no anxiousness, no anything. And then I was pissed, as I was pissed for about 10 minutes, just as I thought through and replayed conversations and dealing with that. But then that night at 9:30 p.m., the senior pastor sent me a text and said, "Hey,"
At the other church.
and said, "Hey, we'd like to offer you this position." And it was late at night, and so I didn't talk to him till the next day. But it was great.
So the same day you got let go, you got hired by another church.
Yeah, exactly. And so God's timing and all this stuff. To me, I went into this like I'm going to go 100% forward, but I'm not entitled. I don't feel like I have to be here. I'm not going to play it safe and try and create a mega church middle management position that's comfortable. That I just didn't want that at all. And so it's great. I'm excited about the new thing. And
What's funny is that, not funny, but it would be interesting, as we've all talked, that there's two sides to every story.
Sure.
And I'd just love to know their side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you have your side. It would just be interesting because we've journeyed through that, and it's somebody watching the show as Matt's talking, I'm looking at notes or other things like that. It's not that I don't lack interest at all. We've journeyed through this every time you had a conversation, I had a conversation with you, and we know all about it. We knew last week before or after you got let go, but I remember saying maybe 2 weeks before. Going because it looked like it was coming to an end, whether you were going to resign or they were going to let you go.
Yeah.
And I remember joking with you, going, if you get fired, it could be so great for the podcast.
Yeah. Which is your number one priority, I know. But even like
your plane is our game. That's all there is.
But I want to return to
friends.
I want to return to something too, because your statement of boy, I'd like to hear their side of the story.
Yeah.
There's a huge backdrop to that, because if you don't know us, or if this is new, it sounds like, oh man, Miguel, what'd you do? You're it's not. That's not a statement of not supporting or not understanding or not. I'm interested too. Actually, in the end of my meeting, so I wanted to say that. I feel like just hearing you say that, it's kind of like, does Fields even agree with McGill at all? But that's not the case. But
I just think there is. To me, I'm trying to go. What is the general learning for all of us? We all have blind spots. As leaders, we just have blind spots. That's one of the things why this community is so important for us, is that we can point out things in one another in a loving, caring way. But I know what your blind spot. I've worked with you for 20 years. I know what it is. It would just be because I've heard so much of your side. Yeah. I would just love to know what the perception is.
Well, and at the very end of it, we had an hour conversation, and it was funny. It was a funny conversation. But at the end, I said, "Okay, guys, so what do I take away from this? How do we get to this spot? What did I do that got me to
Good
this
question.
spot?"
Wow.
And
did you get a straight answer?
Well, no.
That
this is exactly what they said. The executive pastor said, "Well, Matt, I think you're a great guy, and I've always enjoyed our conversations. And just when it comes to fit, there's culture, there's skills, there's personality and style, and I don't know what it is, but you're clearly not a fit." And I go,
yeah, that's what I would hide behind.
Yeah,
style, personality,
and so I help him out. I help him out, and I go, was I just too forward? Did I just were my opinions too much? I go, my opinions were just expressed to my boss. I don't go around saying, "Hey, this sucks and that sucks." I go, "So yeah, I've been opinionated, but was that too much?" And there's nothing. So then my boss says, "Well, Matt, I just want you to be a place where you can thrive." And I said, "Okay." I go, "Yeah." I go, "So how am I not thriving?" And there was just no answer. And I'm actually used to asking a bunch of questions and just not really getting any kind of answers.
Yeah, it's like.
Did you feel like you're a fit though? Did you feel like, man, I fit here?
Did I ever feel like a fit? Not so much. Not so much. I mean, I feel like in certain ways, yeah. I mean, the culture there, I mean, now being a part of it for 2 years, it's not as, I don't want to say homogenous as it maybe would have appeared on the outside. I mean, I don't know. You were there for a while too, so I don't know if that was your take on things. So I feel like in some ways I was a fit. But there were significant ways where I wasn't a fit.
Yeah.
And, you know, and things that I'm not sure I could really talk about without it sounding critical or attacking, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, you know. So.
But the new season is exciting. You're excited about it. And you're back to being the future of the church.
Let's resurrect.
Come
I
on.
like it.
Only as soon as Dave Arnold wants to call me the future of the church again, then I will be the
What's
future
your
of the
new
church.
position?
So it'll be the smallest church I've ever worked at. I mean, it's great. I am excited for that. At first that gave me a, whoa, wait a minute. And when we saw before Christmas, the Christmas Eve card, you know, it just had the invite card only had service times on it, and so I leaned over to Misha. I was like, "Hey, what day do these services start?" You know, and then I started laughing. Like, this will be the first church I've been at that Christmas Eve services only happen on Christmas Eve. So, but yeah,
I thought you were part of a small startup church.
Small startup church called the Gathering. The Following. What do you guys call
yours.
it?
I thought you and Keith started a
Or
church.
something.
I thought that was the smallest church.
Renovase.
No,
that was like starting a church. We didn't actually
All right.
do that. I mean, maybe we should call that.
That's right.
So
You don't want to stick with the
You've had a
church.
lot of experiences that have led you to this.
there you go.
point.
There it is. There it is.
There's some
So
corporate speak
a roundabout way to answer the question is basically I'll be responsible for everything that's not weekend stuff. So
Overseeing the youth ministry.
doing discipleship and
Cool.
for the church and outreach and local and global outreach, and then and really just the kind of leader that he is. I mean, he's a visionary, he's a storyteller, he believes in the church, he's like, you know, your friend. He's great leader, but there's no real strategy, and so that's another thing that they're
he'll be
really
great.
bringing me in is
He'll be great.
how do we
That
come up
culture.
with you know, so that's
Just
good.
your charts alone are
Just my
probably
charts alone.
going to revolutionize.
So
That's
how are
right.
you going to be different going into this new? You're going to be
Yeah, what's
exactly
the-
who you are, Matt McGill, guns a-blazing.
Guns are blazing. My guns are not blazing at Mariners.
Your
Holy
guns are
smokes.
always blazing.
No. Why not got mother? What did the mother say to you? That's.
I was gonna end with that,
yeah,
but
I mean, that's-
but your best friend in the world,
Yeah.
Cynthia, who I saw last week, says, "I hope Matt goes in just a little more mellow.
Yeah.
That they just get to know him a little bit, because once you get to know Matt, you appreciate him."
Well,
But
see, but here's the yeah.
It's an acquired
I'm
taste.
sure
I
I'll
think
be a little
we
bit
can
more-
relate.
I'm sure I'll be a little bit more mellow. So, I mean, honestly, I would have loved to have gone in there and not made any changes for the first year.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually talked about that before I took the position.
He
But there were
arguably
so
didn't
many
have
things.
time. The expectations were too high.
They made me change everything. I mean, they didn't make me. I wanted to change it, but everything within 15 weeks needed to be, you know. I mean, so it was a wild 2 years.
yeah, good learning.
So
Good learning for
great
you. Good learning for them, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, great
So-
spot that you're in now. You don't have to move, which we love that. You're still gonna. You've already told your new boss about the youth ministry garage,
Oh,
and
I
that you
love
want to
the
be a
idea.
part of this, and
Yep.
excited about that. So
Good
you're
that
not
you're
going
securing
anywhere.
that.
It's just teasing when
Yeah.
I said Matt was the. Oh, that was part of the negotiations. I said make sure
Yeah.
you still get to be a part of the youth ministry garage. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
So,
But here's the deal that I was telling Matt. I met with a mom this weekend. I was talking to her, and she goes, "I am so sad that Matt McGill left Mariners Church." The mom of a high school student. She said he was the first one there in so long. You could tell he loved students, and he really loves teenagers, and he totally turned that youth ministry around. No.
yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, I think that I mean, I've just never been a person that when the person I'm following says something really not smart, I just don't keep my mouth shut. I mean, all the years that we were together, I would say stuff when I disagreed or when I didn't think it was right.
Yeah.
You listened. 1 in 100 times you said, "Oh yeah, maybe you are right," but at least you listened
Yeah.
and either corrected me or said, "Miguel, just forget it," And so that's part of who.
But I don't
I
think that's
am.
a negative part
I
of
know,
you. I
and
mean,
so-
I think it takes a secure leader to be able to lead someone who is
Yeah.
who can show all of their cards at all times and be honest and upfront when
Right.
things are good and not good, and
Yeah.
I think that is not. I mean, I think that's one of the blessings of you. Not,
So, Cynthia, who's like one of my best friends in the world, says, "I hope he goes and tones down." Like, when her and Greg, their family, they come over usually once a week or whatever. Like, when I'm telling the stories to them, I'm like,
yeah, you're
I'm
fired up.
I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And then they, but when I'm having a conversation about it, I'm not saying, "Hey, you're a total idiot. Listen to." So that's where it's like, yeah, I'll tone it down, but
Right. The context matters a ton.
Yeah.
How you describe it.
and I've told all of these same stories to this guy that I'm going to be working for, and so he knows.
Yeah, he
you know,
knows
I
what
push.
he knows what he's getting. He knows he's getting
He-
a firecracker.
So,
Totally.
so
You need to be
quote
upfront
Marge
with him
Field.
about
Exactly.
your love
I
language,
like
though.
that.
Like, just like,
I still
you
don't
know.
even know what my love language is.
No,
Respect.
remember respect.
That's right.
The sixth love language.
The sixth
Five. I
leadership
saw
love
those
language.
5. I
Respect
just
is one
didn't
of
like
them.
that. I was like,
I
what
think
the heck?
physical touch is also one of the.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know how good this is going to be for the show. This is going to make the podcast.
There are going to be a lot
So
of
I'm
questions and comments right
I've done a lot of reflecting and learning, and actually we had talked about this also, but this year, like, every day I'm praying, I'm like, God, show me what are these deeply held assumptions that I need to let go of. But I think, through this, like, I'm going to write this all out, and post it, and obviously not in a way that's honoring and truthful and stuff like that. But I just feel like it's been a good 2 seasons or 2 years, a good season.
Dude, I think it'll be helpful. You know how often we get the question about when do you know and when should I leave
Yeah.
and how do I transition well and or I just got let go or there's I think it'll be really helpful for people.
So, and how many times have we heard of youth pastors say, I'm in my church, no one else cares what I do, they don't value me, they don't, I've never had that experience, and so I'm not saying, man, I'm really glad I had
So
that experience,
thankful.
but it's just one of those things that I've been fortunate enough to never really have to experience. So,
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Excited for you.
This
Thank you
is
for
the
staying with the show.
first time anybody's been fired on the show. Talked about
that's
their
funny.
fire.
Last time I got fired I was a waiter at Hoff's Hut.
Holy sir,
It's like
an
kind of an
old
upscale
school-
Denny's.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking
That
of
sounds good.
upscale, if you are looking for a mission trip this summer,
Yeah.
go to youthworks.com. Youthworks.com has short-term, life-changing mission trips for the church, and they have family options too, right, Seth?
Oh.
It's,
Are they one of our?
they take care of everything.
Wait, you can serve with your family?
You can serve with your family. They take care of everything. They do everything for you.
I can't tell that to
And,
my wife. She'll be like, "We need to go. Let's take vacation."
They have
All 6
Okay.
people. It's going to be 10
They have
grand.
over 70 sites. So you can take your
Location.
junior high
Wow.
group or your high school group
That's
too.
impressive.
It's youthworks.com, available options.
And they've been going on for like years. This
Yeah.
is not some new.
no, it's been going on for a long time.
Is that what they do?
Some
Is that
new
what
fad.
Youthworks primarily
Yeah.
does? That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, great mission trips.
Neat.
So anyway,
Exciting.
Speaking of mission trips, ministry
Seth-
with meaning.
Seth,
Wow.
our
Podcast
executive
producer right
over
here.
there, designed the new cover for Purpose Driven Youth Ministry.
Why don't you put it up here so people
Uh,
can
You
see
design
it?
some stuff for me, Seth. Okay.
Zondervan wanted a new cover, and they gave me like 4 options. And
Go buy the book.
I put it on the blog,
And everybody threw
DougFields.com,
up in the comments.
and everybody crushed it and said, none of them hate it, none of them hate it. And Seth I didn't even ask him. He just said, let me mess with that a little bit. And he did, and
Really
them,
good.
and
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, really good.
Excited about
I'm
it.
It's
excited
great.
to read this book.
So what is this a reprinting? Did you update it? What's going on here?
it is updated by cover only.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everything inside.
Yeah, the
Plan
reprint.
fonts.
Here's the deal.
Let's rewrite
The
that thing.
next version of it is going to be the 4 of us.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we already
Excellent.
talked about that, right?
Yeah.
I know we
Purpose-driven round
talked
table.
about a lot of things. It's very hard for me to keep track of all the
Yeah.
ideas that we kept track
Yeah,
of.
I'm just waiting for you guys to step it up and start writing something.
Gosh.
So,
I just can't believe you don't want to keep the planned values chapter.
no, we can.
Did you throw one page of taco salad font in there?
No, I didn't.
Did you throw one page in about the invention of the internet? Or anything?
Oh, you know what is new? The bio is new.
It is. I like it.
Co-founder of
DownloadYouthMinistry.com got on there.
Right.
New specialties, Azusa Pacific University, Homeward Center for Youth and Family.
You're all over the place.
You are.
Just a mogul.
Just a mogul.
Who are the quotes? Duffy, Robbins, and Chap Clark. That's nice. Forward by Rick Warren. That's good. When does it come out?
I don't know. Just got in the mail yesterday. Got the cover in the mail, gave it to Seth. I was more excited for Seth to see it.
It's really
Is this
cool.
your I mean, I feel like you pimped this question, but of course you did not set me up to ask this. But has this sold more than anything else of your books?
Oh, yeah.
300,000? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Even more than the first 2 years, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
By far.
By far.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, it says right on the front how many copies.
Well, it said 300,000, but I just wasn't sure if that was the most.
Even more than Memory Makers? One of my favorites.
What about 365 golf ideas?
You know what? You could probably take all my other books combined and add the sales together. And
it's not as good.
Wait, Crazy Love had to be pretty big. Oh, that wasn't you.
Why is that funny? I don't get it.
Francis Chan did it. It's a good.
You could
that time?
No.
Don't remember
Next
that time.
question.
Well, I know you didn't write that book. But
Ronald Long from Lexington, Tennessee.
really like
Dear Matt, sorry you got fired.
that would be awesome.
I have a great team of volunteers. Hey, if everybody from now on could write in and that be your opening statement. Matt, sorry you got fired.
Dude.
All right, I promise I will move those to the top of the list. Fired, canned, any word you want to throw in there about Matt.
Let go. Terminated. Terminated.
Slashed.
Sorry,
my position was terminated. When they said that, I almost said, "Oh, that's great. So what's my next position?"
Yeah. So finally get to run this place.
What would you like to call episode 209?
209.
Matt's farewell show part
Fade
2.
to Black. I don't know.
I like that.
All right.
I don't know.
What do you think, Seth?
Fade to Black?
Fade to Black?
Fade to Black.
All right.
Searching for a fourth person for the show.
Ronald from Lexington, Tennessee says, I have a great...
Fired up?
Fired again.
Fired out.
That's good. Matt's last show, part 3. I have a great team of volunteers. I have the hardest time finding a good time to meet with them. We have 2 programs a week, Sunday morning and Wednesday night. What have you found to be the best time to meet with your volunteer staff?
There is no best time.
I know, that's
Yeah,
a tough
pick your
question.
poison.
I would say if you could maybe do something before or after something that's existing, maybe have them come a half an hour before, the Wednesday night or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done that before.
Yep.
We've come for, a few, not every single week, but maybe once a month you come an hour before and we do dinner and training and stuff. So
Yep. That's
Well,
what frequency
frequency is key too. There's times where we would meet once a month, minus summer months and Christmas or whatever like that. We'd meet just about every month, and then there was times you guys did once a quarter, and that worked pretty good. I know some people meet with all their leaders every week, and that just feels cumbersome. Like a lot, and especially in some ministries also expect all their leaders to be at both things, and so now you're supposed to be at both things plus come
another night out
early, and so
Yeah, so the big answer, there isn't a great time to meet all the time. Be consistent what you choose. Be wise in how you do it. We talk about this with leadership development type meetings. People have to feel a sense of value. Nobody wants to go out another night of the week if it's not going to be worthwhile. Create some community around it. Have some fun. Do life together, where I'm actually now looking forward to that meeting. If you can tie it in, Josh, you do something with beginning of the school year. You do a kickoff dinner. So on Wednesday night, the volunteers come an hour early. They do like 3 weeks in a row, right, of training. I think I used to do once a month. I think now that's probably too much, because with so much from email, texting, you can get a lot of information out to people.
I agree.
So you really have to be strategic. Why are we meeting? What's the purpose of our meeting? Community, yes. Vision, yes. Some training, yes. All 3 of them have to be great. I like when you can meet in your house. It involves people in your life a little bit. It feels more communal.
Yeah, we did backyard ones for a long time. The Church of Michigan I served at. It was fun.
We had some parents prepare food for us, and so that was kind of cool. They would come after church on Sunday, and so
I think now too there's so many resources that you can point them to and stuff online. Like I feel like years and years ago we were the only resource for volunteers. Now you can point them towards so many different things. So
like the sweet spot. Finding the right place for your adult volunteers. That is what is going to be sent to you, Ronald,
from LeaderTreks. Love our sponsors at LeaderTreks. That's awesome.
Send
the sweet spot.
The sweet spot.
It looks pretty cool.
Let me see that thing.
Check it out. Have you used it?
Did you guys sign up? Speaking of LeaderTreks, did you sign up for their refuel retreat?
I just thought you guys were going to go. Too busy.
I want to.
This is please don't read my name. Look at this. I crossed out please don't read my name instead of crossing out their name, which I normally do.
See, could have been close. Man.
What do you do when a person in your congregation, this person's from California, what do you do when a person from your congregation comes up?
Fired? Is this from Matt?
Comes up to you at church and tells you that the youth ministry is going in the wrong direction. The person is not at all involved in the ministry and doesn't see the small joys that are happening. I need a strategy to use so I can shake it off faster so I'm not down in the dumps a few days and bum out my family.
Criticism, everybody faces criticism in every leadership environment. I mean, it's impossible to lead without people coming. And some people, that what they're even criticizing about, they've got some other issue or some other hurt, and so it's not even fair. You just are the brunt of it. I think that it's really hard not to take it personally. I mean, when you put your life into something and somebody says something. I mean, there is like for years we would bring people on the team and they would, one that would always bother me is they'd look at the curriculum and say, oh man, that curriculum, they would just rip on it, and it would always hurt, and I'd be bummed, and it's like, well, wait a minute, this guy doesn't know anything about even writing curriculum, and you try and tell yourself, like, don't listen to it, but it still bums you out. But I think that's part of what that you do have to remind yourself. I mean, if this is like your senior pastor, well, that's worth listening, taking to heart, and wondering what kind of adjustments you can make. But if it's somebody who has no connection to the ministry, doesn't see what's happening, then you do your best to shake it off.
I think find ways to share some of those small joys with the church. Like if there's great things happening with students, is there an opportunity to share that with the congregation in some way, shape, or form, or just so that they're seeing some of these great stories unfold with students and volunteers. I mean, I think you aren't going to get away from criticism. I think that's always going to come your way, and people always have their own idea of how things should be done. But I think, joy, success, God moving isn't always a great battle back to that kind of criticism of just, look at what God's doing. This is amazing. You're missing it. So, I don't know.
My thought would be just don't be defensive in that moment. Like usually when someone is on the offensive with you, you immediately react or defend, or you're like, you say something that you'd regret or stumble through an answer or whatever. But I do think at the same time, it's important to defend what your purposes are and why you've made these choices. So when I get a complaint from a parent, it's because we don't offer this thing that they really want. And I would be able to defend, not defensive, but defend my position, because we're not going to do everything that comes down the pipe. Here's what we're all about, and here's our purpose, and here's what we're going for. So I think there's a little bit of a nuanced difference between those two things. So if you know why you exist, that will help a ton when people bring up stuff like this.
That's a great
one. I wrote down
that defensiveness.
Holy smokes! Are you serious?
Defend without being defensive.
How were you able to write that while I was talking?
I thought you read what I wrote, and that's why you jumped in and answered.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't know there was a difference between defending.
No, I think you can. I think it's like. And you know what? Here, part of my journey is the older I got in ministry, the more comfortable I became in my own skin.
There you go.
And so I was able to say, "Oh, that's an interesting comment," and to be able to defend. Help me understand why you're asking that, or I would push back a little bit, because we do this all the time in brainstorming meetings, different things like that. Somebody shares their opinion, go, you know what? Let me push back on this a little bit, and we do it in an environment of love.
Sure.
So to be able to push back and ask those questions, or is there more behind that, what you're asking?
Don't just accept the
Let me give you the big picture. Yeah. Now, but everything you said, it is going to hurt. Criticism hurts. It's not going to go away. It's part of being a leader. But if you can defend, because what I want to cause that person to do is to think about, okay, have you thought about this? Or, but I also now when they leave, what I want to do is I want to share it with one of you guys.
Yeah.
Sure, you gotta like
Let me
lighten the load.
Let me. What do you think? Do you see anything different? Is there any truth to that?
That's an important question too.
I mean, absolutely, and I've had to go back over the years and say to people, when you criticized me, I got defensive. I need to apologize for that.
Created a voodoo doll and stabbed your eyes.
Yeah, but I think if you can,
Wait a minute. Right now.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Matt's like taking
Wait a minute.
the doll
Oh,
out,
sorry.
But
For voodoo dolls, that's pretty good. There's something there.
Oh man.
In my senior year of Bible college, this is Zachary Ray. My senior year of Bible college, about to graduate with my youth ministry degree.
wow.
Sorry,
You gotta quit smoking.
I got a fur ball.
That's why I got fired.
I was gonna say, no wonder they
Smoking
let
in
you
front
go.
of the. Come on in, young people.
Get over here.
That's how I paid for mission trips, selling cigarettes.
I'm in my senior year. As soon as I graduate, I plan on trying to start in full-time ministry. I've already read PDYM in your first 2 years.
Oh,
What
speaking
else
of that,
do
it's
you
a
need?
new cover available now.
What other resources can you recommend for a rookie? What other resources can you recommend for a rookie? Let's send this guy some from Youth Ministry 360 also.
Yeah,
Dude, let's send him a code for our website. Can we do that? Are we doing that yet?
I don't know.
from downloadyouthministry.com.
Yeah, we just decided to do that right now.
Okay. Will you do it?
What are you gonna send him? Just something?
Well, let's answer his questions first.
Let's do like a, I don't know.
I would throw another book
50%
onto the
off?
mix. I think I actually am taking some of my
100%
younger youth worker friends on a journey through sustainable youth ministry with me. Just picked up a couple copies this week, and
Oh, wow.
you're fired.
Look at it. It's on vibrate, too.
It is.
What is the
Okay.
story with that?
User error.
Something's going on with my phone. It's like...
You know what you need? The next iPhone. That's what you need.
Yeah, I probably do. It literally was on vibrate, and it just rang.
Literally.
Literally.
Okay.
I would do Sustainable Youth Ministry by Mark DeVries.
Uh-huh.
I just think it's a great book, especially if you've read those first two. I would say it's the number 3 book
I
in
was
youth
going to
ministry.
read that, but I never
Number 4.
sustained long enough.
I just bought it for a buddy of mine who was fired.
Yeah.
I think it'll be really good for him.
Why didn't you give me that a year ago?
Sorry, dude. I just think that's a really good book to read. Not all of it's transferable to every context, but I think you can interpret it pretty well.
You know
Good
what?
stuff.
We had a discussion about coaching.
Don't point your finger at him.
We had a discussion about coaching.
Yeah.
And, Seth sent that email around that said it was about a coaching network, and the question was conferences or coaching.
Yeah.
And Seth and I, as we were driving up here, were talking about, what we got in that meeting, that we just got a little business meeting from Fadi. We got some coaching.
Yeah.
And I said to Seth, people always ask me if I would do youth ministry coaching, but I'm like, I don't know. What would I? And then it hit me when we were with Fadi today. I can do exactly what Fadi did.
just coached.
He knew
You-
exactly
you
what the
would just
questions
turn into
were.
that mode.
I know I could do
Yeah.
that in youth ministry all day long.
Yeah.
But I haven't been. I've been thinking about I got to follow up with people and talk to them 6 times a year and see how they're doing and that type of thing, which is probably a great part of coaching. But all that to say,
Actually care for people.
one of the best resources. Think what I've been doing with you, man.
Get your
If I
work
didn't
cut
have
out for you
if
now.
I didn't have to care for you, I'd have an empty load.
Talk
Is
about money pits.
forget books. I mean, books are great. Thank you.
Books are
Yeah.
great.
But here's the deal. At some point,
Yeah.
you got to have dialogue and discussion with some people who've been around a little bit
Yeah,
longer.
a
And
couple seasons.
there's a youth worker near you, Zachary, who has been doing it for 7 years, and he or she would have so much to offer you that would put a little context to the books that you're reading. So maybe instead of throwing more books at you, what we'd suggest is maybe get around some people like this.
Yeah.
You're already listening to the podcast, so you're getting some,
Yep.
this is coaching in some
Yeah,
ways. This is all
absolutely.
part of
And
training.
If you're not volunteering somewhere, even getting the practical, actual hands-on experience before you go out and get a job is a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. No, that's good.
volunteering or
Yeah,
interning
everybody ought to
with somebody
volunteer
great.
in a youth ministry before they leave
sure.
the youth ministry.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, we're going to send him new, because I need to get more new. Seth, would you make a note?
I needed that book too. Goodness gracious.
We're laughing because Leader Trex has a book called Moving On, and Josh just held it up and pointed it to Matt. We need
I'll sign some copies of that.
we need
I'll
Youth
sign
Ministry
Doug Franklin's
360
book.
to send us some new stuff to give away. Okay, but we're gonna send
Freshen
you.
it up a little
We're
bit,
gonna
is that
send
what you're
you
saying?
new.
Your bags are packed on the cover.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thanks.
let's talk about what we haven't told Katie about our idea. So Katie, when you don't join us at Denny's, we get all these ideas.
Katie.
Katie's happily married,
Yeah, but
doesn't want to go out.
With boundaries.
Yeah.
We were talking about doing a Youth Ministry Garage weekend.
Right? Wait,
Tied
is
in-
this the RV or the weather?
No,
Oh no, that one sounds great.
The RV
too,
is
though.
still a good
That's still
idea.
around.
Yeah.
What's the RV? We drive around and just hang out?
The
Take
three
the
of us
podcast on
are
the
gonna
road.
go on a road trip. Yeah, do the
Let's do
show.
it. Stop by spring training.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a lot of spare time now. I can't do this.
Not for long.
Yeah. Low hanging fruit with Josh.
That's all right. I'm
We were
sorry.
talking about in May, okay, limiting it to how many? What did we say, 25?
25.
25 people
Yeah.
that are garage people. Have we even told you about this, Seth?
I was there. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
part of the fam,
He was out chain
You don't even
smoking with
remember?
Matt during this part, I think.
they come to the fam conference, which is Thursday, Friday,
Tacking
Saturday.
it onto a
Then
conference.
it's Saturday night. They go to
Visit
Saddleback
Josh's church.
and visit you in junior high, Josh in high school.
Visit my
Sunday they
church.
go to
Oh, well, there goes that idea.
I'll speak at Mariners. We'll do something at Mariners. My daughter still
we
works
could
there.
still visit Mary. I mean,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Realistically, we
you
could,
have some
yeah.
great people behind.
Yeah,
you.
you're not hated there. Your position was just terminated.
no. In fact, the executive
Yeah.
pastor said, I'd like for you to think that sometime in the future, if we offered you a job, maybe you would take it. And it was great.
Say your job.
Yeah, I just was like,
When are you going to retire?
how much?
So anyway,
much
that's what we're
truth is
thinking.
in this statement?
You all right with that? And so then after Mariners, then we.
That's
then
a
we-
long time to be gone, though. You tack
That's
it
a long
onto a
time away.
conference. That's a long time to be away, don't you think?
Yeah. Matt was sick that night. Still is sick.
It was.
actually.
Yeah.
Well, then
was that that Monday night
after
meeting?
visiting Mariners, then come over to our house.
Yeah.
And just we hang out and do a dessert here and shoot a show.
S'mores,
But
podcast.
the reason we limited it to 25 because we didn't think we could get 25 chairs in here.
If you move that
Get some
pile
up on
of
those
stuff.
stacks, maybe.
What is that?
Books that don't sell.
Standing room
Oh.
only.
Yeah.
You should give one away free with every order on DougFields.com. Matter of fact.
Think about that. That is
genius.
one promo for every 100 I've given more than dodgeball.com. That was nice.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
What?
Cha-ching.
What
Love
just happened
language.
there? Oh, he's saying.
I just.
Oh, okay.
Your love language is cha-ching.
She got that right. Sister.
Hey, Michael
Hey,
Cooper
hey,
from
hey.
Olive Branch, Mississippi. We are going to put your
I'd
question
like to extend-
on the Youth Ministry Garage community.
Wow,
So
all
go
right.
to youthministrygarage.com. You have a question about 5 core kids who are introverted.
There you go.
And I wanted to get the community's input on that,
Tech
okay?
board.
So
love
move
introverts.
to
Blog.
YMG blog. Okay.
I like it.
That's great.
Gosh, Matt took so much time on his
I
firing
know.
story that
I liked it. It was a good story.
it was a
Thanks.
good
I didn't
story.
zone out at all. That was
Okay,
sweet.
this person, I'm actually going to write you back because that
Was
is.
it a no names?
Yeah.
It was a no-namer, but it
I can
was.
tell you crossed out the part where they say, "Don't say my name."
But I also crossed out his
This
name
is a good
too.
reminder for you, though. Like, before you would read the question.
I should probably circle it and
Yeah.
not cross it out. I was
Yeah.
prepping.
You need a filing
I was
system.
prepping fast. Okay, let's do one. We got to go.
All right, here we go. Last
Okay.
one. It's gonna make a count.
Okay.
Make it count.
Make it count.
My name is Joey Bukuk.
Bukik. You're having a moment over here.
Sorry.
It was
What did you guys do?
like an
What happened?
A-Team theme song moment. She did 3
A-Team.
notes, and then I continued it, and
read
then
my
she was
mind.
like,
Okay, we got to hurry.
okay, sorry.
I'm associate in student ministry
Right.
pastors, Nazarene Church in South Carolina. I'm a rewinder, but have a far way to go. So really, it's technically not a rewinder.
No.
Seth, we might want to put something on the blog, like
Ah.
a little lexicon of terminology.
I like it.
I think
Avid
what he-
listener.
He's a rewinder in process.
Yeah, fan.
Yeah. Joey, a
Raving fan.
rewinder is somebody
He's on
who's
the
gone
road.
back and already
On the road.
continued.
In
A
Colorado.
double
That's okay.
rewinder.
We're going
That's
to
it.
still
He's
do his
just
question.
rewinding.
And someone.
I've only been here about 6 weeks. The student ministry has been led for almost 2 years and has been led well. I'm 23, and my adult volunteers are in their late 30s and 40s.
The guy
The
was
past
just let go.
weekend, we took a trip, and I wasn't in the planning because it was planned earlier than when I got here. Throughout the trip, I felt like my adult volunteers continually treated me like a student. I want to lead with grace, but I also need to have control and respect of the ministry. I want to be able to lead others, but I also want them to know this
Earn
is my
it.
job and my passion,
No.
and I'm not a student. Do you have
You
any
are a
advice?
student.
Grow some facial hair. That
Yeah.
usually helps.
Stop. Okay.
Go
I
ahead,
can't.
say what's on your mind.
I'm learning more
Here we
restraint.
go.
in my
You
next
are
season
this.
of
Clear the
life.
table.
You-
Matt's going to come on court right here. Here we go.
Yeah, but
No, I'm-
Joey, listen to who you're listening to. Guys just got fired.
Seriously. It just nullifies. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's your advice, Matt? Since you already said it.
Yeah,
just
you
put it
can't.
articulate.
You can't expect it. You cannot expect that somebody will respect you. You can't expect that somebody will trust you. If you are going to lead, it is your job to fight and scratch and claw, earn, do anything you can to be somebody worthy of following. I mean, that is, if that is your attitude, and you are able to shuck off this disrespect that you're feeling, then you will earn it in time. You'll earn it. They're older. They've been there longer. You just don't. You can't walk into the scene and expect somebody to respect you. I mean, as much as I joke around here and all this stuff, and hey, listen to what I have to say, and this is right. I mean, that some of it is just an exaggeration because this is the podcast and it's funny, and I always forget people are listening. But in real life, you have to have that attitude. You have to.
By scratch and claw, you mean like coffees, spending time with people, getting to know
it's
those
bad
volunteers.
metaphor.
Like that would be what that means.
Yes, you have to work
earning
really hard.
through
Yeah.
relationship. Just and people that have been there before, they can be a great resource for you. I
Yeah.
mean, be teachable, be coachable by those volunteers, and I mean, I don't know, that kind of humility earns respect, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
they
the
want to be
humility,
respected too.
servant-heartedness. Yeah.
They want to be respected too, and
Yeah.
so the best way to get their respect is to respect them first.
I mean, Joey, you've been there 6 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, 6 weeks. I didn't even hear that.
Well, because you
Oh,
weren't respecting
goodness.
him.
Yeah.
Well, was it worthy of respect?
They just went on a conference that they did the planning for.
Yeah.
Your role in that is to come
Go
in and
with
just
the flow.
just love them. What a great job.
Yeah,
Oh, the
that's
food was
awesome.
amazing. Transportation was so organized.
Yeah.
Thank you for caring so deeply. What a way to go. Follow up the retreat with letters. Engage with them
Thank you
on
cards.
coffees.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. But you're slowly but surely loving on them, but you're taking leadership. And
And did he say the ministry was good for the last 2 years?
yeah.
So why change something that's great? I
Well,
mean,
he's not looking to change it. He's just looking to get respect. But I think
think
it's a matter of
too,
you
it
got to
remember when
earn
you were
it.
young and you
Yeah.
had a mustache till you were 30 years old because you wanted
Crow
people to respect you?
mustache.
No, I wanted to look older. It wasn't people. I
But
wanted
why did
people
you want to
respect
look
me.
older?
Credibility.
What's the difference between credibility and respect?
Nah, you don't respect me. All right, you were.
No, I can't remember what I was going to say.
It's more lack of respect.
Tune in next week.
Oh, I got it.
Three of
Can I
us.
say it really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think when you come into a new ministry too, be grateful that you have killer volunteers that want to do big projects like that. Because I feel like so many people are fighting every day to find those types of volunteers that are that invested.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, that need to want to be in control, that need to want to lead, but that is a blessing to have that kind of investment already established.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 23 years old. Your best years are ahead of you.
Totally.
Consider yourself as a
hopefully.
rookie.
In 7 years.
Be humble. Be a learner. People are drawn to humility. If you want people to respect you, humbly learn from them. Encourage their leadership. Thank them for what they're doing. And every time you're around them, go with an open notebook that they're going to teach you something. Because they have more experience, they have more wisdom, they probably have more youth ministry knowledge than you do, and love them, and they will follow you and respect you. We're going to send
If you
you
build it, they will come.
Purpose Driven Youth Ministry
The
by
cover.
Youth Specialties.
Just the cover.
Just the cover.
Okay.
Actually,
Only cover.
we're going to send you 3 covers signed by Seth.
Yeah.
That's
Put 'em
good.
on eBay.
All right, the show's done.
It's cool. It's a good show.
Love you guys, Matt. Thank
We'll
you for
upload
your.
this.
Thank you for your. Should we upload the last one first?
We'll upload the last one, then this one.
Yeah, give
Okay.
it a week or something.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
You
soon.
can do it.
Yeah, because you're
That's my encouragement
you're leaving to
to you.
Rwanda, right, Josh?
Yeah. Kate.
From
Both of
Kate's
you guys
coming
are.
too. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
I know.
Okay.
You guys will have
It'll
the
just be the 2 of us and Seth then.
Yeah.
3 amigos.
You can do it, Seth. You
Yeah.
did great.
All right.
all
So
over
we may
it.
do a show without him.
Yeah.
I think you should. We're gone for
210.
Just talk
11
about Josh.
days.
Not me.
Yeah.
You do not want to miss a show that they talk about.
I
you.
know. I missed
It's
one.
rough.
It was
It's rough.
Did we talk about you?
just how much
Good
you missed
stuff.
me.
Yeah, there's
You're the
nothing
best.
to talk about on Katie.
You're the best. Okay. Love you guys.
There's plenty to talk about on you.
All right.
Okay, let's finish this.
All right.
Danny's on 3. Let's go.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Denny's?
Bye.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm hungry.